We decided not to submit because the tarp is not visible under the S-bend. Starting off with a circle in either direction without moving one's feet backwards, which suggests you could move your feet forward if you wanted to, but we're trying to do it with our feet still and keeping a nice float in the rope without it actually dragging on the ground. Ask her to turn around there and go out in the other direction, which she's doing very nicely. And you can hear it's a fairly windy day. And she does her little flexion thing there and comes around, and I ask her just to look at her hind end to bring her back in, and that was pretty good. So she had a wee click and treat there. That was obstacle 1. Obstacle 2 is the jump, and number 3 is the halt immediately after the jump. So we're just heading for the jump there, and we're trying to pass the jump together. I was a little bit ahead of her, but she stopped very promptly behind. She stopped very promptly after the jump. So a tiny click and treat there. Then we were supposed to jog or trot from there to the next thing, which was to place my hand on the horse's back and ask her to back 5 steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So that was quite nice. And now we're heading to obstacle 5, which is the L bend, and the idea is to back the horse through the L bend by standing at the apex of the outside of the L, and she's found this quite hard, so we're giving her a little help at the beginning. So she's outside the L bend, and I move my feet to help her through the first arm of the L, and then I go into the spot where I should be standing and ask her to back the second arm of the L, and then I get my rope a little bit caught up, and she feels a bit of tension, and she says, "Do you want me to come forward?" And I say, "No, I just want you to go right out of the L." So that was really good. That was my mistake. I put a bit of tension on the rope, and she's that sensitive that she wondered, should she come forward? Now we're going to head for the scary corridor. And there's a lot of plastic bags hanging there which are making a sound in the wind. But she goes through, and the flags cracking behind her brought her energy up a bit there, but she managed to come back down so that I can actually bring her around the first cone. Now we're weaving the cones and have to lift the rope over the cones because they're so tall. And now I just asked her to change sides because I need to line her up to go underneath the curtain. And you can see that the wind is playing havoc with the old curtain there. So I line her up and ask her to back up, and she's been doing that really nicely. And then there's a slap. You can just see the flag, and it was a crack with that flag. It sounded like a gunshot that brought her forward like that. You can just see the flag whipping in the very corner of the screen there on the right hand side. So we didn't pick a very good moment between the gale force bursts of wind here, and I thought, well, let's try that again. So I just line her up again in front of the curtain and ask her to back through, and I was very, very pleased when she did that so nicely. And she waited once she was through, and you can see she's having a careful look at that flag to see it's not going to attack her. And then I just asked her to come through again. I'm very pleased with how she did that after she had the fright. Now we're going to head for the S-bend, and it wasn't until I'd already loaded this on the computer that I realized that the angle didn't allow you to see there's actually a grey tarp underneath the rails there. And the wind means you can't really even hear her. You can sort of hear her stepping on the tarp. It does make a clanking sound. So there is a tarp under there. But I thought because it wasn't visible, I wouldn't enter it. So that's what we've decided to do, and I've now put the commentary on. So if people find anything useful there, they can have a look.